Hey, what's up guys, this is T-Dog Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Berserk arc titled Falcon of the Millennium Empire. Now obviously, since the title is pretty long, I'm probably just going to be calling it the Millennium Empire arc instead of saying the whole title every time, so yeah, just keep that in mind. So this arc goes from volumes 22 to 35, or 34 of Berserk. It pretty much ends at the end of volume 34, and then there's like one chapter at the beginning of volume 35 that caps off the arc. Also, if you're watching this video and you for some reason haven't read Berserk volumes 1 through 21, I'd probably recommend just saving this video for later, because I'm probably going to be spoiling some stuff in the first 21 volumes. So this arc basically takes place right after the end of the Conviction arc, where Griffith comes back, and essentially Griffith is resuming his path to gaining as much power as he can possibly get, and he's looking to become a royalty figure, someone with a lot of influence over the world, and someone who can basically send any soldiers to any location at any point in time. And since a big part of Griffith's resume was him being the leader of the Band of the Hawk, he of course brings the Band of the Hawk back, but it's nothing like what it once was. Sure, they have loyal members and a strong following, but something is kind of off about this new Band of the Hawk. And what I mean by that is they now fight with apostles. Griffith is acting more sinister and less caring towards the people that he's fighting for, and although they are basically an impenetrable force, something just seems really off about this new Band of the Hawk. I mean, they're really seeming more like the Kushan than the former Golden Age Band of the Hawk. I was really expecting this whole arc to pretty much be Griffith versus Guts, and even though they do have some confrontations here and there, that's not really what this arc is about. This arc is pretty much about Griffith doing his own thing with the Band of the Hawk, and at the same time that's going on, Guts is also doing his own thing, and he's forming a new crew. And oh man, let me just say that Guts' new crew has an all-star cast. He's got Serpico, he's got Farnese, of course he's got Puck. I mean, how can you forget Puck? He's got Isidro, or as I like to call him, Sneak Isidro. And he now has a new witch sidekick named Shurka. And the character Shurka is definitely the most significant new character introduced in this arc. I was definitely skeptical of how magic was going to be handled in Berserk, because even though Berserk has always been very much a dark fantasy series, I wasn't sure if introducing all this magic and all of these powers was gonna be a good idea. It seemed like this could have been a very risky decision for this manga, but I think it really ended up being a good decision for Berserk and a good decision for this arc. And I really think that Kentaro Miura really shows a lot of his versatility with this arc. And it's really interesting to see Berserk's lore be expanded upon a lot more. In terms of the magic abilities that Shurka has, I think some of the abilities could have been explained a little bit more, and not really because I was confused about how they worked. It's more because when magic is introduced in a manga series, usually magic can just be the solution for everything. Every time there's a problem in a manga series with magic, they can just say, oh, well, we have magic, so that can just be the solution. But this definitely wasn't really a huge problem with this arc. I definitely think there were points where the magic felt a little overpowered, but also this is a series where the main character has a sword bigger than he is, and he slashes through ogres and demons and apostles. So yeah, I mean, the main character's already kind of overpowered, so you might as well just make everyone overpowered. And I'm not saying that every character in Berserk is overpowered. I'm just saying that since Guts is crazy strong and can pretty much beat anyone, you might as well introduce some other crazy strong characters just to kind of even out the playing field. I really like how in the Millennium Empire arc, there are a few Star Wars references. And obviously there aren't really a ton of Star Wars references, but there are definitely a few. I mean, the name obviously was inspired by the Millennium Falcon. Shurka can pretty much do the Jedi mind trick on people, and Yoda Puck. Do I need to say any more? It's Yoda Puck. It's definitely really nice to see Guts be part of a group again, because he hasn't really been officially part of a big group since the Golden Age arc with the Band of the Hawk. Of course, Puck has been a homie of Guts's for a while, and in the Conviction arc we saw a little bit of a team up with Sneak Sidro, but this is essentially the arc where we really see Guts become part of a family again, because the Band of the Hawk was really all he had, and after the eclipse, he had nothing aside from Puck and Casca. And you know what happened to Casca. I mean, she's Casca, but she's not really Casca anymore. But throughout the Millennium Empire arc, it's apparent that Guts cares a lot about who he's fighting alongside with, and he really doesn't want anything to happen to them. In the Conviction arc, it was pretty clear that Guts was trying to get closer and closer to Casca. I mean, the whole arc was basically about him tracking down and saving Casca. But in the Millennium Empire arc, Guts is actually trying to distance himself from Casca, and this is mainly out of a fear of apostles attacking her, or something even more dangerous attacking her. And of course, the thing that's more dangerous than an apostle would be the Berserker Armor. And wow, the Berserker Armor is literally the best part of this arc. I mean, it's literally a mixture of guts and venom. I mean, holy shit, how does that not sound cool? And I really like how the Berserker Armor isn't just a device used to make Guts stronger, but also I think one of the reasons why Guts has that much rage is because he's seen every bad thing imaginable since he was born. And throughout Berserk, it's always been a theme that Guts is often more demonic than the literal demons that he fights. And the main antagonist in the series, Griffith, looks a lot more angelic than he does. And I actually reread the Conviction arc as well, and this is definitely a theme in that arc too. And I really like how in the Conviction arc, Father Mosgus looks incredibly demonic when fighting Guts, and it's only in his death that he really looks angelic, and his feathers fall down to the people that looked up to him all throughout his life. And this is a direct contrast to Guts, someone who has been looked down upon. And in the case of the Berserker Armor and everything that's happened in Guts' life, with Donovan, Griffith, Father Mosgus, Casca, and so much more, it's really not hard to see how he goes berserk when he puts on the Berserker Armor. I also think it's really interesting to see how much progress Farnese has made since the last arc, because in the Conviction arc, Farnese was pretty much going on a witch hunt against Casca and the Black Swordsman. And now in this arc, she's literally working with a witch, she's protecting Casca, and she's working with Guts. So she pretty much did a complete 180, and in this arc, Farnese is pretty much looking for a purpose for her life, and also a purpose as part of the group, because she's now working on this team with Guts. And again, I don't really want to spoil this arc too much, so I'm probably just going to leave it at that, but I think this is definitely one of the most significant parts of this arc. In conclusion, I think the Millennium Empire arc in Berserk is pretty solid overall. I definitely don't think it's as good as the Conviction arc or the Golden Age arc, but I definitely think this is a really solid arc, and I know some people probably just don't read this arc in Berserk because they're worried about the series getting bad after the Conviction arc, but by no means do I think this is a bad arc, and I definitely don't think Berserk has become a bad series after this arc. Honestly, I appreciate Berserk even more after reading this arc because it shows more of Kentaro Miura's versatility, and also there's a lot of really significant character progression in this arc. My biggest complaint with this arc is that sometimes the pacing could be a little better. I definitely think there are points in this arc where some of the smaller fights seem like they could have been shorter, and honestly, I don't know if this arc needed to be around 14 volumes. Maybe if it was only around 11 or 12 volumes, it would be a lot more tight-knit. But overall, this is a pretty fantastic arc, and I'm pretty impressed. I definitely wasn't expecting it to be this good, but I really enjoyed this arc. I haven't read the Fantasia arc yet, because I pretty much stopped right after this arc ended, but at some point I'm definitely going to read that arc, probably within the next, I don't know, couple of months. And after I do that, I'm probably just going to make a big video ranking every single arc in Berserk. I've heard that a lot of people think the Fantasia arc is the worst arc in the series, and honestly, even if it is, I'm probably still going to enjoy it, A, because it's Berserk, and B, because it's an island full of pucks. I mean, come on, how does that not sound like an amazing arc? Anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know what you think of the Berserk Millennium Empire arc, or just Berserk in general. I'm currently reading Vagabond, and I'm definitely going to make a few videos on that once I read some more of it, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And with all that being said and done, I will see you guys in the next video.